Disclaimer: the content in this video is for entertainment and informational purposes only. It should not be considered financial advice. I am not a financial advisor, and you should always do your own research or consult with a licensed professional before making any financial decisions. Investing involves risk, and you should never invest more than you can afford to lose.
Today we're asking a big, uncomfortable question. Why do banks hate crypto? The answer isn't hidden in the code, or in the volatility, or even in the environmental arguments they love to cite. The answer is far simpler: money. Billions of it. Let's follow the money. You've probably heard it before. Banking is free, but let's look at transaction and lending fees over the last decade. Spoiler alert, it's anything but free. Here's a graph tracking the fees collected by traditional banks from 2015 to 2024. Let's talk about what happened next. Bank savings yields, the interest you earn by parking your money, dropped from about 1.5% in 2015 to just 0.5% in 2024. That means a $10,000 savings account earns you $50 a year, barely enough for a dinner. Meanwhile, the fees exploded. Bank transaction fees in 2015, $33 billion. By 2024, $62 billion. That's nearly double in less than 10 years. Meanwhile, lending fees, the cost you pay to borrow, rose from $70 billion in 2015 to over $105 billion in 2024. Credit card fees rose from $20 billion to $40 billion. Prepaid debit card fees doubled from $5 billion to $10 billion. That's over $1 trillion in cumulative fees just from standard banking and lending services in the last decade. Crypto fees? Just a fraction of that. Total crypto transaction fees, even during spikes of high usage, peaked at around $3 billion by 2024. That's not annually, that's cumulative over the same 10-year period. And this is why banks fight crypto, not because it's untrustworthy, but because it's too efficient. Let's talk credit cards and prepaid debit cards. Late fees, foreign transaction fees, balance transfer fees, cash advance fees, annual fees, setup fees. In 2024, Americans paid over $40 billion in credit card fees alone. And prepaid debit cards, often used by the unbanked or underserved, rack up activation, monthly, and even balance inquiry fees just to access your own money. It's not about security. It's about squeezing every cent they can from you. Banks are built on the principle of intermediation. They make money by sitting between you and your money. Let's break that down. When you send money, fee. When you borrow money, interest plus origination fees. When you overdraft, fee. When you use your card abroad, fee. When you close a loan early, sometimes a penalty. Enter crypto, a system where you don't need a bank to send money. You don't need a middleman to lend or borrow. You don't get charged $35 for an overdraft. DeFi protocols offer transparent lending and borrowing rates, peer-to-peer payments, no gatekeeping. Blockchain-based finance, DeFi, uses smart contracts that automatically execute transactions without a middleman. Example: borrowing $5,000 on a DeFi platform may cost 2 to 5% annually in interest, without application fees, admin fees, or late penalties, unless the contract defines one. On blockchains, you can earn 5 to 20% APY by lending your tokens, with real-time transparency. No central authority. No fee-stacked bureaucracy, just math and code. And most importantly, fees are transparent and embedded in the protocol. The blockchain doesn't sleep. It doesn't charge over time. It doesn't need headquarters in Manhattan. Take the Ethereum network, for example, processes over 1 million transactions per day, with average fees often under $1, without intermediaries taking a cut at every level. Now compare that to international remittances, where banks and services like Western Union might charge 5 to 10% in fees. A $1,000 transfer can cost $50 in banking fees versus less than $1 on-chain. Crypto platforms threaten to make cross-border payments, lending, asset issuance, and even payroll more efficient, faster, and cheaper. And that terrifies traditional finance. You may hear banks say crypto is dangerous, unregulated, used by criminals. But let's not forget that in 2008, banks nearly collapsed the global economy with toxic derivatives, not crypto. What they really fear is losing control of the rails, how money moves. control of the yield, how money earns, and most of all, control of the narrative. Banks want to keep the system opaque, because clarity kills profit when that profit depends on hidden fees. The 2008 crash was caused by them, not by Bitcoin. They say crypto isn't regulated. Banks helped launder billions through offshore accounts with regulation. Regulators, often influenced by banking lobbyists, are told that crypto is a threat to financial stability. But who defines stability? The same banks that profit from your every transaction. Let's be clear, not all crypto is good. There are scams. There is volatility. But the technology is real, the innovation is real, and the efficiencies are undeniable. Crypto doesn't have to replace banks, but it does have the power to make them honest, to reduce fees, increase transparency, and bring banking access to the 1.7 billion people currently unbanked. The truth is simple. Crypto removes the middlemen. Crypto brings yield back to the user. Crypto puts pressure on banks to be better. And that's why banks hate crypto, because it's not about code. It's not about crime. It's about competition. Welcome to a new dawn of finance. Hit the like and subscribe.